Episode 33 of the Bazooka Kickboxing Academy, and we're at the point now where we're learning to defend and counter back. And today's episode is going to be about leg blocks and countering with our kicks. And going back to the very first episode, we talked about box stepping and making sure our feet never cross. And this is where it's going to come really important with blocking. I never want to have my feet crossing. At this point, I don't have good leg defense at all. So I want to make sure I always box step, which means my feet never cross. When I'm going to my right, my back foot comes forward, as you can see. Other way, my feet are never crossing. Same with backwards and same with a forward position. So I could really break this down in so many different ways, but I'm going to bring leg blocking to be very simple. From our standing point in our fighting stance, I want you to bring the knee to the lead pillars, and that's going to be able to block the right kick, and I have blocking my left kick. Now for the left kick, you have two options. You can cross, and you can bring the back leg up. Why I am telling you to block knee touching elbow is because a lot of times you don't know where your opponent's going to kick. So if they throw a leg block or a body kick or a head kick, I'm defending. And that's the most basic way to teach it. As you start understanding your opponent, you might not block as high for a low kick. But if you're not sure and you're fighting someone who's constantly changing up their angles of their kick, it's the safest way is to get the knee to the point of the elbow. So I have 1, 2, and 3. So very easy drill to teach the beginners who are watching and learning defense for the first time is do episode 1, which is the box stepping, and add the block. So I can come my different box stepping positions, 1, 2, 3. And you're gonna find the importance of good leg blocking is making sure you're always in control of your footwork. And being in control of your footwork means you have to, even when you're throwing, you have to get back to your position. You need to know the balance distribution between your rear leg and your front leg. If you watch a lot of traditional Muay Thai fighters, you see them heavy on their back leg. This is because they can block easily and counter with their lead leg. So different styles for different results. So if I'm a kickboxer, so I like to stand a little bit more heavy on my front leg, which makes it a little bit more difficult to block. So Episode 2, we talked about defensive versus offensive footwork. All of this is very important. Now, when I'm in an offensive footwork position, it's hard for me to block because I'm going forward, my weight's on the front leg. I have to now transfer weight on my back leg in order to bring this leg up. So it's a little bit harder. So that's why when you watch the low kick system, I really time my low kick off the step, because when you step to punch, step to move forward, you can't block. So the reverse now, when you're the person blocking, you have to have control of your stance. So in my defensive footwork, I'm more 50-50 in my footwork, so I can block. When I'm attacking, however, I put my weight on the front leg. So the whole series, the whole system is starting to come together. The last point I'm gonna make is when blocking the kicks, and especially I see it a lot on the right kick, a lot of people bring this knee straight. And what happens is when the kick comes, it still knocks down. I need the blocks more on a 45-degree angle, whether it's the left side or the right side. And the quickest trick to teach that is having the toe position. So if you look at my toes, I'll turn my toes to the position I want to block. This now lets me getting the block on a good angle. Here we'll hit. Here you're not doing anything, so turn my toes, watch my front foot out, and I get it. If I want a 45-degree on my right side, my toes got to point in that direction. Okay, so now I have Antonio Carvalho, UFC fighter, as well as up-and-coming kickboxer Abiel Delgado, and they're going to be starting with a simple drill back and forth where they're just going to throw right low kicks. And from there, they're going to be blocking, making sure they have the right angle, and they're blocking with the right part of their shin. I'm looking for a long, strong, stable block. You don't want your opponent to be able to push you off balance. Once you find the timing here, they can go to the left kick. As I mentioned in the opening, you have two options with the left kick. You can cross block, bringing your lead leg to the right elbow, or you can bring the back leg up. And you can constantly mix up, and it changes according to your opponent and depending on what you want to counter on. In order to make sure you block every level kick, we want to make sure the knee comes to the elbow. And now once they have the rhythm, they can go back and forth any which level they want, right kicks or left kicks. And remember, you need to find the balance in your stance to be able to kick and block right away. So in order to make this drill more challenging, they're going to counter back a little faster with their kicks, which is going to be the second half of this episode, which is countering off of the block. And time. So now that you're comfortable blocking the leg from the left side and the right side, now we're going to counter back with our own kicks. We're going to go 1-for-1 with the kicks, be able to block and counter back. I'm going to show you a quick few and then we'll just flow off of it because it's a natural thing that has to unfold. You work set ways of landing the counter kicks and then you just flow with it and it comes out in different ways. So first thing Abiel is going to do is he's going to throw his right kick. I'm going to block. Now I have an option off of this block. I can step down into my own kick. Again, he block. I have a leg kick, body kick, head kick, any right side kick off of that. The second one is going to be a switch off of my lead side. So I can block and I can switch to the inside. I could block, switch to the body or head, and I can switch even and attack the back leg. So I have different options of attacking both sides. And same thing with the left kick now. With the left kick with my back leg, I can step down and hit with the same side. So one more time, block back leg, counter with that way. Or I can go block here, I can counter the other way. And remember, I can change up my levels, change up the way I block. So what we're gonna do is Abiel is gonna throw left or right, and I'm just gonna naturally block and counter off of it. I could even front kick off of it as well if I would like. Block and front kick. Abiel's on the bag and he doesn't have a partner, but what he's going to do is he's going to visualize his partner kicking and he's going to block and counter. Okay? And you can do the same thing with your shadow boxing. Just visualize your opponent kicking and visualize defense and countering. Alternating sides, lead blocks and rear blocks. Block and kick counter. The other thing Abiel is going to do now to make it more advanced, he's going to start using his boxing. In between his boxing, he's going to catch a leg block and fire off with his kick. So he's using his boxing, waiting for the counter kick. He's going to block and counter off himself with his kick. Time. So now we're going to practice leg blocks and counters using the pads. You can see that Abiel has his shin guards on. This way it doesn't hurt my shins when I'm kicking back. And the key is for Abiel is we're going to start at a little bit more of an advanced level. But you can start with the same progression. Start with just the right kick, counter off the right kick. Start just the left kick, counter off the left kick. Build it up slowly. We're going to get to the point now where I'm just going to block on any side and counter. Then we're going to add some punches, force me to block and counter. So you see the warm-up transition. So any kick, block to kick counter.
Jab. 1, 2. One, 2. Jab. 1, 2. Jab. Upper jab. 1, 2. Bounce.
Some common mistakes when talking about blocking and countering. So the first thing is blocking, and it's not blocking. So you have to make sure you create a fighting stance that allows you to block. And that's gonna change where you have your weight distribution. So if you're getting caught with a lot of low kicks, it probably means you're very heavy on your front leg. So you're gonna have to adjust between your defensive and offensive stance a little better. The other thing is, now once you block, is not following up. And this is why countering with your kicks is very important, especially when you're blocking and your opponent moves a lot. Your kick is a longer weapon than your punches. Next episode, we'll talk about blocking and countering with punches, but it's very important you establish a good block kick counter game. You can have the front kicks and constantly change levels. The last mistake is countering with the same kick. You have so many different levels, so many different kicks. Change it. Go to the inside leg, go to the body, go to the head. Be unpredictable, and your counter kicks will have more damage. There you have it, episode 33 of the Bazooka Kickboxing series, and it's about blocking kicks and countering with your kicks. A very important skill, and it all comes down to having a good framework in your stance. So go back, rewatch the first few episodes in order to get that good, strong framework. Look at box stepping and make sure you look at fighting versus defensive stance. It'll help your leg kick blocking tremendously. So hope you're liking the series. Next episode, we're going to talk about blocking leg kicks, but countering with our punches. So this way you have the option to counter with your kick or counter with your punches. Especially if you fight some of those kick dominant guys, you're going to have to be able to block and counter right away. So if you're enjoying the series, like, subscribe, bazookasquad.com for the t-shirts, and make sure you follow the guys behind the camera at DB Vault.